Well, it's a true honor to be here addressing you guys. Congratulations. I've got to be honest, although I've given a bunch of big speeches and some commencement addresses in the past, I'm a little more nervous today. First, my son's in the audience. He's a first grader. Hey, Griffin. And second, you guys are city kids. It means you're smart, you're sophisticated, you're fully prepared to roast me on stage if I don't do a good job. So please be kind. I'm only here to share a few lessons that I wish I had known when I was in your seats or graduating high school. This ceremony is called Commencement, and that means beginning, and for a reason. Today doesn't mean that we're at an ending, right? It's rather a new chapter in your chosen path to learn and grow. One of our core values at Warby Parker is learn, grow, repeat, and you are all living and breathing that. Going forward, your learning will be more self-directed than ever before. The problems you encounter will be larger, more complex, and less structured. Gone will be the teachers and parents guiding you every inch of the way. And while you'll encounter some really smart professors, it's unlikely that you'll have the level of closeness and intimate coaching that you had here at Avenues with your teachers and administrators. It may seem scary at first, but how you respond to being in charge of your own life will set you on a path that defines your future. You're in control now. Like you, I was born and raised in New York City. And like you, I probably grew up a little too fast, a little too cocky, and a little too unimpressed with the world outside of these 5 boroughs. Living in this city and attending Avenues is an incredible privilege. And of course, with great privilege comes great responsibility. You're expected to leverage what you've learned here in a shorter period of time into a greater impact than the students that didn't have a chance to attend this institution. But the good news is you're already equipped with the tools needed to bring you success and happiness. You just need to learn how to use them. This brings me to my first lesson. Happiness equals reality minus expectation. Right? Happiness is the equivalent, the delta between the experience, your real life, and what you had hoped it to be. You can interpret this 2 ways. You can create a reality that exceeds your already high expectations, or you can simply lower your expectations. I'm a big proponent of the former. And if you're like me, you'll work to maximize your reality so it overcomes your expectations. If you get in the habit of over-delivering every time, it will manifest itself in all aspects of your life, whether it's planning your friend's birthday, writing a midterm. You always have to think about what you can do to exceed expectations. When you have a business serving customers, you have to be better than what those customers expect every single time. It's a simple formula, but to be honest, it's not very easy, and true happiness comes on being proud of a job well done. Lesson 2, practice gratitude. Please turn to your classmate to your right. Thank them. To the classmate to your left. Thank you. Doesn't that feel nice? And a big thank you to all the parents, the family members, the loved ones who enabled us to be here today. Giving always feels better than receiving, unless it's a car. Well, actually, I take that back. You guys are city kids. You don't need to know how to drive anyway. Lesson 3, don't be jaded. As I mentioned, living in New York City makes you grow up fast, even if your parents think otherwise. Because of this, going to college in some aspects may even feel like a step backwards for you academically and personally. You might find yourself shaking your head at a fellow student learning something that you mastered at the age of 15. My first 2 weeks of college actually felt a little bit like middle school. It's a lot of cargo pants at the time. This isn't an excuse to press pause and wait for them to catch up. This is an opportunity to get creative with your time and push yourself to grow in other ways. Use your head start to seek out new people with different backgrounds and perspectives. Explore new academic fields. Grow as an individual without being told how to. Act like a sponge and absorb. The more you understand the world around you, the more that you can know your own self. And self-awareness is the key to succeeding as an adult. Because every decision that you make, right, will be based and better informed if you really know who you are, your strengths, your weaknesses. By realizing your convictions and passions, you can then focus your energy exclusively on those pursuits. This is what will differentiate you from your peers, and this is our expectation of every student here. At the end of the day, we need you. We need your optimism, we need your energy, we need your enthusiasm to make the world better. God knows we're in a suboptimal space right now. You are each startups. Startups like Warby Parker are unproven. They are disruptive because they need to be. They need to create a future where their business models are successful. Incumbent businesses, right, those large existing businesses, benefit from the status quo. They want the future to remain similar to today. Unfortunately, old people like me and many in this room, we haven't done as much as we should have, and we won't be able to make this world as good as it needs to be. So it's up to you. You're the future. We need you to stand up, protect each other, protect the planet, and protect the future. This brings me to lesson 4. Approach life with empathy. Empathy might be the single most important trait that will contribute to your personal and professional success. Some of you are beaming with it. Others maybe could use a little extra boost. Maybe the people that are beaming with it can tell the others. The best thing about empathy, right, the ability to stand in someone else's shoes and feel what it's like, it can be learned and practiced. It's key to understanding the people around us. It's the building block for morality. It's the fabric that binds great relationships, and it's also one of the most complex of all human emotions. Why is this so important to your future? I don't want to paint a picture of a too dystopian future, but the rise of artificial intelligence and its stepchild, machine learning, is real. Empathy will soon become even more valuable in the workplace, more valuable than ever before, because we can't distill it into an algorithm. The ability to understand each other's emotional needs cannot be replaced by a computer. So it's best to invest in empathy now. Not to mention that your work and happiness will often depend on your ability to collaborate with others, and empathy is a key ingredient to successful collaboration. Lesson 5, there's no right path, only moments that you should choose not to ignore. When I was your age, I thought that success was a linear path. You go to a great university, you pick a major, you pursue a respected career that's related to that major. Speaking of which, actually, majors don't really matter. We've hired a lot of people, and I can count on one hand the number of times that majors come out in an interview. But back to that linear path, you get an internship in that field, you graduate, and you immediately pursue that career. But here's a secret that you learn as an adult. The world can be dysfunctional and unpredictable. You think starting Warby Parker was a foregone conclusion? Truth is, I don't even wear glasses. That's another secret. It took me several jobs in areas that I thought were right for me to realize where my strengths and my passions intersected. And it was only after a chance encounter with an eye doctor and learning that almost 1 billion people didn't have access to eyeglasses that my trajectory was changed forever. I thought it was crazy that so much of humanity didn't have access to glasses, a technology that was invented 700 years ago. This led me to move to El Salvador, join a nonprofit, and worked to train low-income women to start their own businesses selling affordable glasses to their communities where people are living on less than $4 a day. Ultimately, this sent me on a path towards starting Warby Parker. I returned to graduate school after my learning curve started to plateau. This is that theme of learn, grow, repeat. At business school, I met 3 dynamic guys, and one day we were complaining about how expensive glasses were. Frankly, the best businesses and organizations solve real problems. We went on to start Warby Parker with no formal training in any of the disciplines that we would soon need fluency in: design, software development, supply chain management, to name a few. And none of us had even built a website, let alone started a company. The 3 of my founders had management consulting and finance backgrounds, and I was the nonprofit guy. If you wanted to build a fancy Excel model or a select PowerPoint presentation, we were your guys. If you wanted to create an A-team to take on the $100 billion optical industry, we were most certainly not it. But we were curious and we were great learners. Fast forward 8 years and our team has grown to over 1,500 people. We have 70 stores, millions of happy customers, and perhaps what we're most proud of is that we've distributed glasses to over 4 million people around the world in need. I often get asked how I got here, and the real answer is a lot of luck. And anyone who has achieved success without being lucky is either lying or delusional. But we've worked tirelessly to position ourselves to be the recipient of as much good fortune as possible and to capitalize on it whenever it comes our way. Your goal for the next few years is to search and discover what's meaningful to you, and then create your own path with your own set of expectations. I'm going to leave you with one final point, and it's one that you can put into action immediately. Be kind. You've already been incredibly kind to me. And when I talk about kindness, I mean using it in the interactions that take place 100 times a day, every day, in every city, in every village on earth. It's being kind without expecting anything in return to your loved ones, your best friend, to your colleagues, to strangers you'll probably never see again. And the beauty of kindness is that it's both a means and an ends. My success is entirely the result of the goodwill of my classmates, professors, former coworkers, all who encouraged me while providing critical feedback and introductions. Kindness enables the success that we seek while being the success that we want, a kind world. There's a quote on the wall of our office by the novelist Henry James. 3 things in life are important. The first is to be kind, the second is to be kind, and the third is to be kind. You are graduating today as a future leader, and we live in the world where the most valuable tool in a leader's toolkit is not her ability to control other people, but her ability to influence them, to bring out the best in them, to make them feel valued. And making people feel valued begins with kindness. It begins with the simple human interactions that make up the minutes and hours of our daily lives. Leadership begins with holding the door for the person behind you, or answering the text message from your classmate. It begins with hailing a cab for an elderly person, a task so easy, there's an app for it. Leadership is saying thank you and meaning it. And on that note, thank you and congratulations, class of 2018.